Gargle Lieutenant Worf. You step into my Readier Room, please, and bring a tricorder with you.
Hi, Captain.
What do you make of this?
I am puzzled, sir. The only detectable bioelectrical symbols are your own. You did not know.
I did not.
Readier Room, the only and longest-running Star Trek The Next Generation rewatch podcast every week of the calendar year. That's the Gregorian calendar. We're bringing you an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation and all the behind-the-scenes stories that allowed that magic to happen. My name is Mitchell Mells, Chief Consultant of Services at Paramount, and with me is my life partner, Brandon Hobbs, ex-Head of Resources Management. Brandon, how are you this morning?
Well, Mitch, I'm feeling a little low test today, so I'm trying to hype myself up. Yeah.
I hear that, raw eggs are good for that.
Yeah, I've been doing the raw eggs.
Also,
the
raw
onions.
sperm.
I ate a whole onion. I haven't recycled yet.
Okay. But that's on the docket, right?
Yeah, sure. That'll be like my midnight snack.
Have you ever ingested just whole cloves of garlic?
Actually, yes.
How'd it feel?
They're pretty good.
Yeah?
Well, I'll roast it though. I don't know if that kind of nullifies it has to be raw.
It has to be raw.
Yeah, I've never eaten raw garlic.
You got some homework now. Is the thing. I am averse to eating garlic, and I am very it's kind of an anal retentive thing. I'll eat something. I don't really know what garlic tastes like, to be honest, but I'll eat something.
You retain it in your asshole?
No. But when I eat something, I might enjoy it, and then somebody's like, "Oh, by the way, there's garlic in that," and then I just go, "Ew, I don't want to eat this."
Really?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a female trait.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I am quite feminine, as I've
you could
always
tell
been
me.
told.
Yeah, that's why you're the bottom.
That's right.
You could tell me anything's in something I just ate, and I'd be like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not like a particularly squeamish guy.
Just when it comes to garlic, huh?
Yeah, because there's a lot of things I don't like. I don't like cheese. I don't like milk. I don't like.
Just gonna go down the dairy list.
Butter. I don't like shrimp. But the point is, like, all of these things. If I'm at a restaurant and someone's recommending me something that has a key ingredient that I don't like, I'll still try it just to expand my horizons, even if it's bad 90% of the time. But I'm not grossed out by it either. It's just that I don't like the taste. But with garlic, it is an aversion.
Yeah.
Which is why I filed it under anal retentive, because it sticks in my asshole.
Yes. Sticks in your craw.
Right. Many things stick in my craw, but I don't wish to retain all of them.
Right. You know what they say about yogurt?
It's cultured.
They do say that. And was it yogurt?
Yogurt.
I might be wrong about this. Yeah, I'm trying to think about what they say has phytoestrogens in it.
Oh, Lord,
the stuff that the looks-maxing guys avoid.
Soy? I know there's a lot of talk
yeah,
about that.
that's it. It was soy. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, not yogurt.
I've long heard the soy, banter and whatnot, but I never knew the reason that they were so averse to soy.
Yeah, there's phytoestrogens in it, and there's, I don't know if this is like an old wives' tale or an old husband's tale. But I remember there being talk about young boys raised on a high soy diet growing tits.
Okay.
Right. So I think all that's kind of combined to create the atmosphere around soy we have today.
Well, I can tell you that boys raised on a high sugar diet most definitely grow tits.
Among other things.
Like sugar cane? I don't know where you're going with that.
No, they get fat.
Right. I don't know if I'd say that's them growing something, that they grow their fat. Another day at the fat farms.
Time to harvest the fat.
How do you feel about fat on like your steaks? Are you pro fat, anti fat?
Depends on the day. Anti-fat. Yeah, it depends on the day, don't you think? I mean, some days you're like, yeah, I could go for like a really fatty piece of meat, something like with a lot of fatty flavor.
Yeah.
And then some days it makes me throw up.
I think it depends on the cut of meat more than anything else. Prime rib I think has the most delicious fat sections.
Yeah, sure. Like if it's cheap meat, you can't really be messing with the fat too much. It's usually kind of gross.
Right. Gristle.
Yeah.
As it's
that's what it tends to be. Yeah.
Like the bear, gristly bear.
A gristly bear.
So what's new with you these days?
We got the 4th coming up.
Right. The May the 4th be with you.
Yes. Well, no, this is July 4th, so it's in our community it's Star Trek Day, of course. We celebrate the wonders of Trek and how it's all emancipated us from our dreary, monotonous lives, right?
Right, and gives us dream of the quote Star Trek future I hear so much about every fucking day.
The Star Trek future where we don't really know what happens to the lower class.
Nobody wants to talk about how the lower class is bred out of existence.
People like us would be sent to the labor camps in the Star Trek universe.
That's right. It's really the top 1% that gets.
You can either be a scientist. You can be a scientist, a teacher, a starship officer, and that's it.
Or you can work security.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you could be a farmer too.
A soy farmer.
A soy farmer. A soy farmer. It is weird that there. I guess it's not so weird. I was gonna say it is weird that there's like a market for homegrown food on Earth when there's replicators all around. But
well, every time this comes up, there's always some guy that's like, "Oh, the replicator food doesn't taste like the real food," and how do you eat that slop?
They're retro fascists.
They're retro fascists. That's right. They're imposing their idealized view of the past onto the present.
They're like, we must return, and they replace the U with a V.
Right. They're really yucking the yum of those of us who live in the present.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, I'm not giving up my replicator.
No. Any of this retro stuff just gives me the ick.
The heebie-jeebies.
Right. I'm both heaved and jeebed simultaneously.
Now that sounds almost racist.
Yeah? Against who?
It sounds like in an alternate universe
characters?
It would be.
Okay.
Speaking of which, how many people in the world, like percentage-wise, do you think know? And I'm talking about English speakers. How many people percentage-wise do you think know the origin of the word gypped?
Oh, not many, but people.
Did you never hear anyone complain about it?
No, but those that do, like to complain about it. People love having a cause to fight for that is very unknown. So people are like, "Oh, can't say that." The Roma. They always say the Roma.
Yeah, the Roma. Yeah, and meanwhile, these are people who have never interacted with a gypsy in their life.
Right.
They've never had like a pack of 12 children come up and steal their wallet.
Yes. Here's what they do. The children, like, they pat up against you with like large pieces of cardboard, so you're desensitized to their hands running through your pockets and stealing your stuff. People like to rag on the Europeans. A common rag is where they purport that the Europeans are all anti-racists, but they will gladly, shit on gypsies. And to that I say, yeah. Of course.
I mean, it's only natural.
When there's a culture that's founded on, theft and being highwaymen. It's not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not,
they are actual highwaymen.
right. They live on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is they come up to you and say it's either my way or the highway. But little do you know that both of those are their way, which is why it's such an effective theft tactic.
Right. They're getting one over on you there.
Right.
I'm putting together in my head just the very beginnings of a bit where a pedophile tourist gets mugged by gypsy children, and he like runs away with one, and he gets one over on them.
See, what I was thinking was that he keeps he wears cargo shorts that are stuffed, and walks into gypsy territory all the time, just that children and feel them up.
That's pretty good too.
Sews the shit into the lining of the pants so that they're
right.
feeling around, but they have to keep grabbing. It's a whole scheme.
Yeah. Now that would really get them.
Right.
They'd feel very stupid.
Do you think gypsy children are the type to feel stupid or just to be stupid?
Yeah, I don't think they feel anything.
Right. Well, they're not people, is the thing.
Right.
So, do you feel any kind of realism about these races? Any realist attitudes in their genetic makeup?
We are being realistic here.
We are being realistic about the races.
Right. It's just realistic.
Right. I mean,
I'm not trying to say anything.
There's some statistics I could quote you. Stats.
The statistics are very inconvenient, though, aren't they?
Depends on who you are, what your truth is, and what point you're trying to argue.
I don't think there's been any Twitter argument in the past 5-6 years that we haven't had definitive statistics on that have proven one side completely wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they still keep going.
Well, that's what's great. I mean, I'm not. So here's the thing. People love being on Twitter, everybody's dumb, and the Twitter arguments, everyone's stupid, and everyone's dumb. And they have this whole holier than thou thing. They have their Twitter account, they have their follow list that's 1,000 people, their follower list is another 1,000 people that are different. And they always talk about just how terrible the Twitter community is while actively taking part in it.
Yeah.
And it really annoys me. And this is not unique to Twitter. It's basically any kind of sphere on the internet. People just... when you are familiar with something, you are more familiar with its faults. So people that use Twitter and Reddit or whatever are going to be more privy to the how bad the user base can be. But you have to realize that you are an active part of this, and you can't be above it when you engage with it as often as you do. If you want to talk shit about, Twitter and how useless and it is and how dumb the people are, that's great. But don't use it then. Because what are you doing? You're just wasting your time on something that you self-profess is bad for you?
Yeah, well, the biggest issue is they use it in the same ways that they accuse others of using it.
That too. But I don't know. There's this whole smug, holier than thou attitude that has annoyed me for years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always by people that are completely insufferable, of course.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, they're completely entrenched.
Well, and even if they weren't hypocrites, they would be insufferable.
When they're talking about people being stupid on Twitter, they're talking just solely about people who disagree with them.
Right.
And these people are very opinionated in all the wrong ways. So, it stands to reason they'd be insufferable and would be the only ones who are actually talking in this way, really.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how this situation comes about, but it just still annoys me.
I read a great review of Darkon earlier today.
Darkon?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm into this. I mean...
For those who don't know, Darkon is
It's our favorite movie of all time.
It's one of the best movies ever. It's a documentary about a group of people with terrible lives, no money, awful jobs. They work at like Walmart in like some flyover state suburb who LARP.
Yeah,
right?
LARPing is their life. Their life.
Yeah, and it's like this like medieval fantasy. They all pretend to be medieval fantasy characters on like public school soccer fields. And actually, there's two great ones. There's one review from May 23rd, 2008 that gives it a 1 out of 10. It says, starring the great Skip Lipman.
I'm sorry?
So Skip is the main guy.
Oh, yes.
In the movie. This guy hates Skip Lipman.
Oh, it's just a personal vendetta?
He despises Skip Lipman.
It has to...
He says...
Yeah.
He says, of course, going in, a movie starring the great Skip Lipman will have no culture, no intelligence, no wit, other than a corrosive adolescent jokiness, and no recognizable human emotion.
Well, that's not wrong.
Skip Lipman wasn't even on the map before this movie came out.
He's not on the map after it.
Well, he does do bit parts in some stuff now. Surprisingly.
Wait, he's an actor?
Yeah, kind of.
It's a documentary, right? I haven't lived my life with the wrong impression of Dark
Well, that's the
Knight.
thing, though. This is a I mean, if this isn't a documentary, then I also got fooled. But this is a documentary.
Right.
But I think he pivoted his remote success in Darkon into doing like little bit roles on like, smaller productions and stuff.
I see.
But he has been in like at least one movie.
Huh.
Like one fictional movie.
Now this is the main guy, right? Who rises up against Dwight from the Office.
Yeah. The fat guy with a beard. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I now I'm just picturing a universe where Darkon is fiction, and it's just the most well-made movie of all time. to sell the aesthetic that they were going for.
So the review that I really, really enjoyed, and I can't really read it word for word because it's way too long.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a section where he goes into, he was basically like, I could not enjoy this movie because I've been exposed to too many people like this in my life, and they're all assholes.
An incredibly valid criticism.
And he was like, my first run in. Oh, okay. Here's what he says, and you'll recognize this kind of person because I'm sure you've, in the circles that we run around in or have run around in, coincidentally or incidentally, we'll have people like this.
Okay.
He says, I've actually known people who involve themselves in this brand of idiocy, and watching this movie was like having to engage in a lengthy conversation with one or more of them again. These people, by and large, are 34 plus, make less than $10 an hour, make up history as they go along, and develop these strange delusions of grandeur based on the idea that you are mundane in all facets and they are not.
That is...
They will refer to each other in public settings as knight, master, lord, or king. You know what? Pardon me as I explain. And then he goes into like how like his first run-in with these kind of people was at like the Renaissance Fair, and he was doing kickboxing, and he got involved with like this weapons team, and the guy who was like teaching like the weapons course or whatever, like it was like one of these kind of people, like basically making shit up and like talking about how great he was and how skilled he was and stuff.
This is
and it's just so good.
This is amazing. The notion that they believe themselves special amongst mundane people is so spot on.
It totally is.
Good lord.
It totally is. And you can even see that in Darkon when they're like they'll have these interviews with guys that are like, no one likes me in real life. And they're having this like pity party, but in the back of their heads they're like, it's because I'm too smart.
Right. Meanwhile, there's like a 12-pack of Diet Pepsi sitting in the background.
Yeah. The next scene, he's like, it's like a 300-pound man crawling on the grass, eating flowers.
David. What was that guy's name?
I don't know, but if you actually remembered his name, that's incredible.
I can remember the visual of that exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy he worked at Starbucks, and he's like, I can't talk to girls. I work at Starbucks, but in Darkon, I'm whatever. But then it cuts to him in Darkon, and he's just, like you said, crawling on the ground eating flowers.
He's rolling around like Jabba the Hutt.
He doesn't have a weapon, he doesn't have anything, he's just fat.
No. He's just there for the ride.
Right.
He doesn't do anything. He doesn't help his country at all. He doesn't expand their territory. He's just there. He just wants to sit there and roll around and watch, I guess. I don't know.
It's a new type of role play.
Oh, very nice.
Always be suspicious of people eager to role play, because you know they're missing something.
That's what they say. Abs.
Right.
Always be suspicious.
Right. Around role players, abs.
There's
something about abs that just scare people into role playing games. I don't know what it is.
I don't know where you're going with this.
It's like they're afraid to work out. Abs.
Oh, okay.
They feel inadequate around somebody who has reigns control of their life.
Mm-hmm. Who is a Chad, so to speak.
A Chad, right? Like the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm happy to report that I have watched another Tom Hanks movie.
Okay. With the oh god, no, it's gonna what is it?
It's The Terminal. And it's not about cancer.
Okay, what kind of terminal is it?
An airport. Do you know the conceit of this movie?
Not really, no.
So there's a guy from a shit poor Middle Eastern country arrives in New York at an airport. While he was in the air, there was a coup in his country that invalidated.
Wait, there was a what in his country?
A military uprising.
Oh, okay.
And that invalidated both his passport and his ability to go home. It's kind of contrived, but apparently it's somewhat based on true events. But anyway, he ends up having to live in the airport, given that it's not officially U.S. soil, for an extended period of time. It is, and like I said, it's a Tom Hanks movie. He plays like a poor Middle Eastern guy who's learning English, and you can kind of like see that development, which is kind of fun. The movie is a little bit too fantastical at times. Like the romances and the character interactions aren't really grounded in anything. To the point that it's distracting that characters would act like they do. But overall, the conceit of the movie and the performance is fun enough that it's a recommendation. And I believe
add that one to the Hanks list.
It's certainly on the Hanks list. And it's got Renee Zellweger, who, as her name implies, is white.
You're too fast for me on that one.
I knew right where you were going, and I cut you off.
Now, when are you going to watch The Burbs?
What are The Burbs?
Well, that's another Tom Hanks movie where his wife is surprisingly Carrie Fisher.
Oh, the greatest actress of all time.
And here's the crazy part.
Yeah.
The kid at the beginning of this episode of Star Trek this week. He's in the movie too.
Oh my god! If only I had watched The Burbs, it would be the perfect link.
Yeah, it would have been much more topical.
I'm a little suspicious of 1980s Tom Hanks, where he's more of an overt comedian. Not that he's not funny, but I don't know. I like his dramatic performances.
Yeah. He's not really Tom Hanks if he's not like just staring wistfully out windows and stuff, right?
Right. I need a John Williams score with the Spielberg production, and fucking wistful is the best way to put it. He wasn't in Big Fish, but Big Fish is basically Tom Hanks.
Yeah, you know what? That's who was in Big Fish?
That was Owen McDonald.
That is absolutely like a Tom Hanks movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're right.
So I
watched
Fire.
Fish. I watched Big Fish because this chick that I liked also liked the movie.
You bonded over Big Fish?
No, we didn't bond over it. I watched it so I could try to, and then I didn't. So I kind of just wasted 2 hours.
Was it good? Was it a good movie?
No.
No.
I don't. I mean, it was okay, I guess. It is one of those like dumb quirky girl movies though. It's like one step away from being Tim Burton. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Almost.
Okay. See, I
Not its aesthetic, but in its quirkiness.
right. I thought that it was quirky. I actually rather not that it was so quirky, but that it was more of a dad movie. Movie for dads.
I think it's a dad movie.
Well, I haven't seen it. It's my image.
Oh, okay.
So I defer to you. But that's what I kind of
My
thought.
perception may have been colored by all these other factors, but yeah, I thought it was kind of just like
Probably by the girl herself in some way.
yeah, right,
Mm.
right. I might be projecting.
Mm. Well, I'm not a big fish stan, so you don't have to worry about offending me. I
A
don't
big fish stand.
a big fish stan. I don't even like real big fish.
Not a big fish stick.
Well, that I am. I'm coated in bread.
You're bread coated.
Bread coated. How do you feel about the concept of fish fingers?
Well, that's what they call them in the UK.
Right. It's kind of. I don't like it. Like, I know it's ostensibly the same as a chicken finger, but I'm put off.
I've never really had a strong opinion about this.
Well, you've never been on the Readier Room before.
Fish fingers, fish sticks. I'd rather go with fish fingers because no one can make the South Park joke at you if you say that.
That's true. And you don't want to look like a fool when somebody makes a South Park joke at you.
Right, right. Well, it's embarrassing for everyone involved, really.
Yeah.
No one gets out of that unscathed.
I read some people's opinions on South Park. And I'm not a South Park fan. I haven't watched South Park in more than a decade. And when I did watch it, it was just fine. But the way people get mad at South Park these days is comical in and of itself.
What were they saying?
Well, they flashed back to there was some episode where there was like an election and the two candidates were, oh god, something ridiculous like piece of shit and giant douche. The idea being that like, oh, a lot of politicians are just crooked and shitty no matter who they are.
Yeah.
And people are like, the damage this episode has done, people don't vote, and that's how we get this.
Oh, yeah. It was like an anti-Trump thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And putting aside the complete fact that people are now seeing, and this was very recent, people are now seeing the exact result of that, rather the justification of that episode's message, where it's like, okay, you elected a Democrat who allowed, and it isn't really doing anything about the issue that Democrats seem to care about the most, which is the abortion thing. You know, it's like, great, your guy won, and you still think he's shitty, which is fine. But that's the whole point of the episode. He was running against Trump, who you obviously would agree is shitty. So, how are you really going to take shots at this?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. People are just so not all people, but these people very into politics
These
are
fucking libs.
no, but I mean, kind of. But the people who are very into politics, especially left-leaning people into politics, are so trigger happy at shouting down anything that resembles a both sides argument.
Oh, totally. Well, and it's also like they're so short-sighted too, where it's like you have issues that, I mean, every issue is multifactorial. There's never like oh, if we just fix this one thing, it'll get rid of racism forever or something.
Right.
But so many of these people want to believe that. Like they believe we're like one step away from like the end of civilization, like the end goal of civilization. You know what I mean? Where we magically find ourselves in a utopia if we get rid of, I don't know, like for example, all the white people or whatever, right? And it's like, yeah, well, I mean, maybe, but there's like 5,000 other issues you're gonna have to deal with too.
I mean, it's nice. I imagine it's comforting to imagine the world being that simple.
Right. Well, and it's not to say that like Republicans don't do the same thing.
No, but
in an equally annoying way. But they're also not the ones with intense social power right now.
But my point is that so right now you just kind of made this point that people on both sides fall victim to a cognitive trend, and
People on both sides.
and by virtue of doing that, you are it's very illogical. By virtue of doing that, you have taken one side. By
Sure.
By claiming both sides are problematic, you have taken a side.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, now I'm a Republican.
Right, which is
Yeah.
like I said, just very illogical. And
Yeah.
as fans of Star Trek, we cannot tolerate illogic.
Right. Spock, Data are our heroes. They're always
Sarek,
logical.
my favorite Star Trek character.
I was AOC put out something on Twitter. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but what do they call those pregnancies where the baby dies in the womb? Is it ectopic?
Lucky?
Yeah,
I believe it's ectopic.
She was like, "Don't tell me that the founding fathers knew what an ectopic pregnancy was." And it's like, you can literally just Google it, and the first like recorded ectopic pregnancy by name was in the 1600s, and the first recorded ectopic pregnancy, having not been named that, was like in the year 1000.
That's see, I don't really like to just I don't know. I don't mind the AOC's existence in a lot of ways, because I can't say that a lot of things that she does I vehemently disagree with. I just find her kind of obnoxious more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But for her to be so just embarrassingly wrong on an issue that I probably agree with her with.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%. 100. I agree. You're right. I probably do agree with her on most things. But yeah, she's obnoxious. She's an idiot. And the only people who call her out are like, idiot Republicans on Twitter.
Right. People who are also 99% of the time just factually wrong and demonstrably stupid.
Right. So she faces zero consequences because she just gets to conveniently ignore them. But yeah, wow. I was floored at that. She is cute though.
Well, there you go. That redeems everything.
I mean, that's probably what's been saving her.
But it won't save her forever. She's gonna hit the wall.
She's gonna hit the wall.
Pink Floyd made an album about that.
Oh, they did.
Right?
About
the deteriorating looks of women.
I saw a beautiful, the album cover of The Division Bell, right?
No, I'll look this up.
All right, never mind.
No. Just tell me your fucking story. Your anecdote.
Well, no, it's not funny. It was just a Sneed and Chuck edit of the Division Bell cover.
All right, I have seen this before. Now that I've looked it up, but
yeah. They just some guy just turned those faces into Sneed and Chuck.
That does sound funny, but I want to go on record and say I've never heard a Pink Floyd album.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh yeah, that's right. You were telling me that before.
Yeah, this isn't new lore, but I don't know. I have a friend that just always likes to talk, I guess, at me about Pink Floyd, and it's like, oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on record here and say The Division Bell is my favorite album of theirs, which I guess means I hate Waters. Waters is the one who was gone at that point, right?
I've never heard their stuff.
I don't know anything about Pink Floyd, except like I've listened to like all their albums, but I don't know anything about them. Anything about the production of the music, nothing, and nothing about the people.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Waters isn't there. What did he do? Is he the guitarist or the singer?
I have no fucking idea.
Okay. You want to know something very autistic about me? Every time I listen to a new album, I always do it while reading the Wikipedia entry on that album.
Well, if someone asks you about the song, you got to be able to hit them with a couple cool trivia facts.
Well, it's not that I need to assert myself. I genuinely enjoy learning the details of production.
I'm well aware that you enjoy reading Wikipedia articles, so it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility that you would enjoy listening to music and reading about it at the same time when you spend hours reading about baseball statistics and you never watch baseball.
It's also by virtue of the fact that these days, the past several years, I only ever listen to music on the train, and having something to do to occupy, I don't know,
Wall Street.
To occupy Wall Street. To occupy my mental faculties is nice. Oh god, I forgot.
That big brain of yours.
It's so fucking large.
You need so many things going at once, or else you start drifting off and thinking about stuff.
Can't have that. I can't have that.
Yeah, you might discover the new theory of relativity or something.
It's like a training weight I put on my brain so that one day when I take it off, I can brain blast at full power.
One day you're gonna sit in an empty room and just your third eye is gonna open.
Like my irises and pupils are replaced by a blinding light.
Yeah. And you'll start connecting everything together, like the baseball statistics. Somehow reveal the answer to the universe.
I shed my clothing, come blue like Dr. Manhattan, abandoning all sense of shame. Well, I've already done that.
And then you order Uber Eats.
I had a very dangerous encounter with Uber Eats the other day.
Yeah. Did you casually run into one of your Uber Eats drivers on the street?
No. The only person I've ever run into was that one little girl, and we settled that out of court. But it was like, let's say I ordered dinner at 7 p.m. and I drank my last bottle of Tansan with my dinner. So I gotta go buy and or order more of this. I'll do that probably soon. Then I accidentally fall asleep and I wake up at 11:30 at night.
Oh no!
And I'm like, oh no, I'm really thirsty because I just woke up, but I don't have anything. Can I still Uber Eats it? And I check, and thank God I can. They're still delivering that late. So I'm like, okay, so I do that. But then I fall asleep again, and it's it's on its way. So oh no, the clock's a ticking, and I'm just in slumberland. And my doorbell chime has 2 chimes on it, a rising and a falling note. And the second note is the one that woke me up. And luckily I was able to get my stuff.
So nothing actually happened.
It was dangerous, but it wasn't.
Oh, okay. It was dangerous.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that is what you said. You didn't give me any false promises here.
That's right. I've never lied.
No, never.
Never. Speaking of which, I'm now conducting the podcast from my new iPad, which I have, and I deliberated about this a lot. I had a cover, and I'm like, what sticker of mine am I going to put on the cover? It's an important decision, you see. And I was thinking about the stickers I have from the local sex shop, but didn't go with that.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah, but instead, I put the sticker of that otter joke.
Oh, wow. That's perfect.
Yeah. And now I have that. I'm going to read the joke live on the show. Read my sticker. This is a sticker reading podcast.
My sticker.
So the sticker is an otter. He's just kind of chilling. He looks rather distraught. And the text says, Uso janai yo, honto da yo. Which is pretty funny.
I'm still angry that's
It's a real thing.
Well, not that it's a real thing per se, but
that I was vindicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it being on a sticker, it's just that there's no one in the world who laughs at that.
I can testify as much that nobody laughs at that. But it was made for me. It's my sticker.
It is your sticker. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
And-
I've got a veritable mountain of Play Asia stickers.
Oh yeah? What are you gonna
That
stick them
I've,
to?
Well, nothing. I don't want stick. Like, what am I, a child?
All right, here's what you do. You take them all and you go out canvassing, and you put them on in decreasing intensity the further out you get from your living space, such that somebody could potentially follow them and radiate in on your house.
Right. Sure. That sounds great. That sounds like a good idea.
It's a good weekend project.
I guess I could just kind of take them out, go for a walk, and just stick them random places.
Yeah, that's what I do with change that I don't want. Like if I ever get a 1 or 5 yen coin, which I have no use for, I will just go out and leave them on fences or mailboxes or walls.
You're like a little money fairy.
I am certainly a fairy.
I did that with Yu-Gi-Oh cards a lot.
Yeah, little Yu-Gi-Oh fairy.
Except instead of going out for like walks around the neighborhood, I would go to like the local mall and hide Yu-Gi-Oh cards inside like stuff at Macy's.
Okay.
And then I would wait a week and go back and listen to the employees complain about how they're still finding Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff.
Did you have a mischievous smirk?
Oh yeah. And I would check the status of the ones that I had set, and sometimes there were still like plenty that they hadn't found yet.
Now, did you ever get caught? Were they onto your game?
No.
You should
I was
revive that practice.
It would be pretty fun. I might actually, in my old age.
It's like a superhero donning his mantle again.
I'll attach a dual disc to my arm and run like Forrest Gump to the mall.
The dual disc shatters in a dramatic fashion, just like his fucking metal legs. It all comes back to the Hanks.
The Hanks. The hanky panky.
Hank.
Hank. Did you watch that Beavis and Butthead movie?
No, where they do America?
No, where they do the universe.
Wait, is that like a sequel?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that a new one?
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just referring to the one from the 90s.
No, they're reviving that whole series.
Really? Starting with a movie?
Mm. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really good.
Excuse me. Now, I've never watched Beavis and Butthead.
Wow.
It's like, I don't even know, what is it about? I know what it's about, but what is it about?
Well, I mean, the conceit is just like two ugly guys, two ugly, annoying guys try to have sex. And they get
the
into
Readier
wacky
Room.
hijinks. And they're both voiced by Mike Judge, actually.
Right. Who, of course, is supremely talented.
Mm.
I don't know.
So yeah, it's worth a watch.
I'm waiting more for the King of the Hill reboot, should it ever exist.
Yeah, sure.
That's always tickled me more than the idea of Beavis and Butthead. Beavis or Butthead, really.
Someone needs to make a website where we can bet on like cartoons.
What's the
I
next
really
one
bet.
to get revived?
No. What I want to bet on is whether Bobby is going to be trans in the reboot.
That's a good bet. I think the odds would be in favor of yes, so no would be the winning bet.
Yeah.
And if not Bobby, it would definitely be like one of the kids, like Joseph.
Sure. Or Bill.
I think that's telling a slightly different story with a different outlook on the issue.
Didn't they already do an episode like that?
They did one. He was wearing his like dead wife's dress as a coping mechanism. He wasn't. I don't think he was trans.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Nowadays, you can kind of just wear a dress and boom, So
What's Bill's story arc in the revived King of the Hill?
Bill get iPad.
I was thinking that he fell prey to like an MLM scheme or something.
What's an MLM scheme?
A multi-level marketing, like a pyramid scheme.
Oh, like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, where you buy a bunch.
Say pyramid scheme then. God damn it!
No,
stop using your fancy big words.
I think multi-level marketing is slightly different. Where,
like crypto.
No, you have to buy a lot of product, which which you then hawk. Like, I'm buying a bunch of cosmetics, which I have to sell.
What is that, like a hole-in-one?
God, I'm slightly annoyed that did not take me longer to understand.
We're just fucking mind poisoned.
Yeah, something happened the other day where it occurred to me how irreparable the damage to my psyche is.
Yeah.
But oh well. Question of the week. Yeah.
Let's do it.
We got a question of the week from Irma God, who asks, Admirals, hello. What skincare routine do you recommend so that I can get a complexion similar to that of Commander Data? Thank you for everything that you do, Irma. Well, Irma, it's a great question. I know that in the when Brent was getting prepared for the role, there's a lot of lemon juice. Do you remember this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would have to be a substantial amount too.
Well, he was very zesty at the time, such that whenever we were, drinking, we would like, oh, Brent, stick your finger in my drink for a little bit of that lemon zest.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, that's right.
He would happily oblige, and he would like sensually lick his finger afterwards.
Kind of give you the sex eyes.
Right. Which, with the yellow complexion, was even more appealing.
Now, I have a bit of a life hack for you.
Okay.
For Irma.
Yes.
Rather than focus on your skincare routine, I would say if you want to look like Data, you just need to destroy your liver.
Ah. Now,
right?
That does have quite the effect on one's complexion.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think is the most effective way of sabotaging one's own liver?
Well, obviously you have alcohol.
Okay.
I would say alcohol. I want to say actually it's alcohol and Coke at the same time.
So like a rum and Coke?
No, like cocaine.
Oh, so like a rum and Coke.
Yeah, right. Well, you can add Coca-Cola in there too to fuck yourself up even more. But I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, how alcohol and Coke creates like a new substance in your liver or something.
Have we talked about this? I've not heard about this.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Hold on.
I mean, I believe you. I don't need you to fact check.
Okay, yeah. It's like coca ethylene.
Okay. Now
or something like
that. Sounds like someone's mother.
Coca ethylene?
Yeah, like Ethel. I don't know.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Coca ethylene.
Well, with the way names are going these days, you never know.
You've reached customer service, sir. My name is Coca ethylene. How can I not help you today?
My name is Bit Trip.
That sounds like like the evil guy in like a video game movie.
Oh, it does kind of, doesn't it?
Like a Wreck-It Ralph type thing.
Right, like Wreck-It Ralph versus Bit Trip.
Yeah.
All right, I buy it.
And he's like this radical like 80s style G.I. Joe Marine type guy.
He's white.
He's very white.
Very white.
He's Christian.
He has good fundamental values.
He's got a good credit score. He's married with a wife and 2 kids.
That he still
Two and a
lives
half
with.
kids. 2.5 kids and a white picket fence.
There's a bit there somewhere, like someone's half kid. It's like it's one of those documentary. Okay, this is the bit. It's like a Louis Theroux. Is that his name?
Yeah.
And he goes to
It might be Theroux.
Theroux, okay. And he goes to the house of this family whose lives are completely upended by having to care for their critical half kid who's missing, like, I don't know, the right half or the bottom half, but the amount of medical care required for them just completely destroys the lives of the family. And
Right.
and Louis is like interviewing them, and it's just, that's the bit.
And he sits down with the kid and he's like, "Do you like having half a body?"
Right, and the kid just can't even talk really because half his mouth is not there, and it's like,
Yeah, the kid starts like shrieking and gurgling, and the camera does like a close up on Louis' face, and he's just like sitting there staring at the wall, looking concerned.
The other half, like where the other half would be, is an open wound running the length of the body.
I didn't know what he was trying to say to me, but I did know it was time for me to go.
The interview with the mom's like, they always say the idealized American family's 2.5 kids, but they don't know. They've never been in this situation.
Oh God.
Not a bad
man.
bit.
There's some really good bits that you could do with Louis Theroux. I'm surprised no one's done them before.
I think it's kind of niche. Like, no one watching Saturday Night Live comedy sketch show
I guess
is gonna know what a Louis Theroux is.
Yeah. They're not going to be watching like the My Life with Autism documentary or whatever.
They're not gonna play it 20 times enough that they can quote it.
Hi, Louis.
Oh boy. So I guess the official Readier piece of advice is to destroy one's liver with alcohol and drug use.
That would be it.
Also jaundice. Research jaundice. If you're
now that sounds like someone's mom.
It does. Oh,
My name is
boy.
Jaundice Stevens. No, Jaundice Washington.
And then the alternate universe where Janet Jackson never escaped poverty, she just became Jaundice Jackson.
Janet, no. My name is Jaundice.
Oh god, this Mirror Universe episode is terrible.
She's got a beard and mustache.
If you're like Irma and you want us to answer your question on the Readier Room, you can email us your question at thereadierroom@gmail.com. That's with capital T and 2 capital R's, or you can tweet at the Readier Room on Twitter. Send us a DM and we'll answer your question. Brothers,
It's break time.
break time. We'll be back, and we're back.
We're back fresh from watching the infamous Oregon video.
Right. People on both sides?
On both sides.
That's right.
When you have a coexist bumper sticker on the back of your car and
That has interdependence written on it.
you get into a public altercation screaming match in the middle of the street.
I'm here to help you work through your anger.
It sounds like the dude did something shitty.
I think he cut her off. I mean, it's a driving dispute. Whatever.
Yeah. But we've all been there when
You-
someone does something shitty on the road.
Are you an angry driver?
Well, I don't drive.
Would you be?
Yes,
Okay.
insanely. I would be the kind of person who gets out of the car. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's better you don't drive.
That's the thing. Yeah, little things piss me off so much, especially the little things people do. Like I get mad when someone eats funny.
Right. Someone.
Or like
Go ahead.
or like when they make like a specific kind of typing noise.
I get mad when people leave the typing noise on their phone on, so you hear like the click, 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 click. That
Yeah,
pisses me
yeah.
off. But you're definitely the type of guy that someone cuts you off and then you go home and just hate your wife.
Yeah, well, no, I would probably follow them.
Okay, and hit their wife?
You know what I mean? I'm definitely the kind, like, honestly, there have been times where, like, I've even been a passenger, and I've been thinking, like, I would probably just ram my car right into them just out of spite.
I this might disappoint you, but I'm very slow to anger behind the wheel.
Well, that doesn't disappoint me at all. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, I'm legitimately surprised to hear you say that.
Remember that time you almost got us killed in that parking lot?
Was this about driving?
What? Yeah, no. Like, we were driving through a parking lot and, like, some guy almost fucking T-boned us.
Yeah!
And it was my side.
There was a lot going on.
That guy was going too fast. That wasn't your fault, but
yeah, that was funny. Do you remember driving in that one car that would like shut down every time it stopped?
yeah. People would, like, laugh at us having to push it backwards. that was a really fun time.
The past, the ephemeral past.
The things we did for Popeyes and alcohol.
Yes, I would still do a lot for Popeyes and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
No cap.
But I won't do that.
Brothers.
Popeyes is bussin'. Oh yeah, brothers.
Popeyes is bussin'. Brothers are bussin'. Bussers.
Brothers. So yeah, I mean, you hear this title, you see Data, you know exactly what this is going to be about.
And then it is about that.
It's exactly about that.
It's about Data getting a cosmetic facelift to look black. Then
One of those movies.
Him and War for Brothers.
Yeah. Oh man, that's an OpenAI story for later.
Stick that one in the back pocket.
Or it's got to be him and Jordy.
Yes. Really, Jordy, Worf, and Data just form a trio of brothers.
Yeah, sure.
They make like a rap group.
That's inspired. I like that. Yeah. Okay, so brothers. Good episode.
Decent episode. Decent. I thought it worked on a downwards trajectory. I thought the most compelling stuff was at the beginning.
Really?
With Data's hostile takeover of the ship.
I thought that everything the rest of the crew did was, for the most part, stupid.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. It felt too convenient. Like, I don't know.
To me, most of the things that the crew can do are reliant, and most of the things they ever do are reliant on just telling the computer to do things. So
I suppose so.
Data locking them out of that maybe is a little too convenient, but it still made sense.
Picard just feels really passive here in a way that it usually isn't.
Right. Yeah, I buy that. But for the most part, when you look at it without knowing what's going to happen, I find it to be a fairly tense scene. Like, Data just goes off without any explanation. And
well, the thing is, I may be biased, but I feel like I said, knowing the name of this episode, I feel like you know what's going to happen.
You know Lore's going to show up, but
yeah, I guess you don't know, like, the Doctor is on the planet.
Right.
Whatever.
I think if you just went in knowing and thinking about the title, you would assume that Lore has hacked Data somehow.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fair.
And it's not quite what you get. So even then, it's a little bit subversive in a sense. But just I think it's tense. That scene goes on for quite a while. And throughout the whole thing, Data's motives are unknowable. And how much danger the crew may or may not be in.
He impersonates Picard's voice.
Right.
Brent
had to train a lot for that.
Yeah. Well, it's the first time he's done an impersonation since the pilot. So
did he do it in
had
the
to
pilot?
kind of relearn that. Yeah. I forget who he did it
Huh.
who he was though. Um,
But he did an impression of somebody?
yeah.
Huh. Brent, comedic genius. We get more of that later. More of his great acting.
Mm-hmm. And we get even more of his comedic genius in his famous YouTube series.
Yes, which is for fans of Curb Your Enthusiasm, just a great watch.
Where Brent Spiner, I guess, raped a child or something, and now his life is ruined.
Was that a show, or is that just one of the cast parties?
Brent was never that kind of guy.
Oh yeah, he didn't like parties that much.
No.
He did all that at home.
The one thing I really dislike about this episode, and about this sort of thing in any episode, I really hate ticking clocks.
Yeah, it's very hard for one to just not feel contrived. Right?
Yeah.
Very rarely does it feel earned, I suppose.
Yeah, well, it's too convenient a way to introduce some kind of tension where there really is none.
So is your
just have a chill episode, whatever.
Is your least favorite show of all time 24?
Well, I kind of hate that for other reasons.
I see.
I mean, well, 24 is like the show that basically spawned all of these weird operator fetishist guys. You know what I mean?
Operator fetishist. I've not
who think they're they think that they could go to fucking the Middle East tomorrow and blow people up or whatever.
Did you
basically Steven Seagal type dudes?
Yeah, I have the image. I just never heard the term operator.
Oh wow, you got a rabbit hole to go down.
Jeez. Did you see that documentary on YouTube about the one of those guys, basically?
The Okie one?
Yeah.
I watched it.
I liked it.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. So they're operators. Now, these aren't people who fetishize connecting people on phone lines.
No.
I see.
No, far from that.
That's a different
different kind of
fetish.
operator.
Yes.
Yeah, different fetish.
So there's actually, and this might shock you, more than one set of brothers in this episode.
Yeah. We it's actually the first scene. This we're in the meeting room and this very extremely Jewish child walks in.
He didn't register as extremely Jewish to me. I wasn't looking for it.
You gotta fix your radar there, buddy.
Yeah, that's my problem. my inept Judar.
Yeah. And he's sentenced his brother to death inadvertently.
Inadvertently, that's right. And he pulled a prank which involved his brother getting infected by parasites, which honestly, as far as pranks go, is pretty funny.
Well, and here's the chain of events, which is ridiculous. The kid makes his younger brother think that said younger brother killed him.
Right, by putting a blood packet in his shirt.
Yeah. So the little kid thinks he shot his brother and killed him. The little kid is traumatized and runs away. And somewhere, in the middle of running away and freaking out, he decides, I'm hungry. And he just eats something off a tree.
If I was the kid that was being brought up on this charge, I would have a good argument that is not my fault.
Well, not only is it not his fault, I don't think that would ever happen.
Yeah.
You're like an 8-year-old and you think you just killed your brother. You're not gonna you'd be sick to your stomach. You wouldn't stop to eat a fucking berry.
Right.
So already contrived.
And wouldn't you know it, this contrivance is the key of the ticking clock that comes up later.
Right.
But there's a scene of the perpetrator kid and Riker in the conference room, which is kind of a strange, not a strange setting, but it's a strange scenario, I think.
I was thinking the same thing.
Right. I don't think it's bad, but it's certainly unique amongst what you typically see in TNG.
It's weird to see like the commander of the ship admonishing some like civilian child.
Right. And there's like this line about a backstory of their parents aren't on the ship, but they let the children stay on, which is also strange.
Right.
It's like, we just fought the Borg.
Well, yeah. Not only that, but it's like I'm pretty sure like the kids are with their parents solely for the convenience of keeping the families together.
Right.
There's no reason for the kids to stay on the ship. Then whose responsibility are they? Apparently, they're Riker's.
Do you think Riker makes a good father?
No, but I know he makes a good daddy.
Well, he'll be the first to tell you that, Frakes. Speaking of which, actually, one of the cut lines, I guess, from the scene made reference to the Jus Primae Noctis law. That are you familiar with this? This is not something we made up. This is a real thing. It's Latin. It refers to the first officer's right to have sex with anybody caught breaking certain rules aboard a ship or a starship in this case.
Okay. So this wasn't good. What was it? Was this going to be like a teenage girl before or something?
No. This was the only thing changed about the script, but it was it ended up getting cut. I think the Latin was too confusing for our audience.
Yeah, they probably would have thought it's like an alien language.
Right, like why did Riker start speaking Klingon? He's not Klingon. He doesn't know Klingon.
Right.
And it just wouldn't work. So we ended up cutting it. Following this, now Troy is also there in what is like the first clear example of her doing her job like correctly, I guess, you know?
Yeah, sure.
It's like Troy's actually counseling someone, a kid that definitely needs it. Like, great.
Mm-hmm.
Justified Troy's existence against all odds.
Yeah. I mean, she still doesn't really do anything else. I mean, all of her counseling is off screen, I guess.
That's what the episode should have been. Just
that can be the B plot
of counseling.
Yeah. You could make that work.
I imagine it's kind of like a flashback episode where something happened in the past and it traumatized or affected the crew in some way that they're all getting counseling, and through the counseling you learn the story of what happened.
Is it like a Rashomon type thing?
Yes, actually. That's exactly it. You sound so tired asking that question.
I've had a lot of Rashomon related discussions recently.
Like that episode of King of the Hill?
King of the Hill.
This is basically an episode of King of the Hill that I'm describing.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Where they're working at a firehouse that burns down, and all of them give their accounts on the event. And when Boomhauer gives his, the flashback shows everybody but Boomhauer talking.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Strangely.
Yes, that's right. I remember that now. That was a funny bit. So, yeah, then Data starts trying to take over the ship, or he succeeds in beginning to take over the ship, and he, gets everyone off the bridge because they're gonna die.
Yeah.
If they don't.
The whole scene was just a repayment to Brent. Didn't write him into the last episode. In this episode, he destroys everybody and gets his way.
Right, yeah.
Nobody can stop the powerful Data.
I think he was consulted very heavily on the writing of this episode.
Right. We had to cut the guitar solo he wanted Data to play, but other than that,
yeah, that's unfortunate too.
Yeah, it would have been bitchin' if he's to be believed.
Yeah. Well, what we were gonna do, I mean, what would have had to have been done is obviously Brent couldn't play the guitar, so we'd have a recording that we'd kind of overlay in post, and Brent would be obviously playing the wrong strings completely on the footage,
similar to the violin
much like his violins. Yeah.
Oh well, Data probably could play a bitchin' guitar. In my
there's a
canon,
a really inspired. So everyone's scrambling around trying to get access back, and there's a really inspired scene that I think only exists because they built like a 10th of a set where we have a
Oh, the ladder.
yes.
Yes. Very inspired directing.
I liked the shot looking down on everyone, but then there's a shot that is looking back up and no one is in the frame and they're just like talking about like, oh, something's going wrong, and it hangs on it.
I thought that was fine. Not great, but fine. But when Riker has the line that's like, now what are we gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like comedic.
Yes. Certainly the most noteworthy visual of the episode.
Yeah, for sure. So yada yada yada. I mean, I don't think anything really super special that's worth noting takes place between Data hijacking the ship and beaming down.
No, like I said, it's a scene I very much enjoy, but it's not. It's like that.
There's not much to really talk about.
Do you remember that scene in that episode of The Guy, where there's like a fugitive on the ship and he's trying to escape, and he's crawling through ducts and whatnot, and it's just that for 10 minutes. It's basically that, but of a higher quality, I would say, mostly because of the tension with it being Data.
Yeah.
So Data beams down to a planet that he has hijacked the Enterprise to take him to. And
yeah.
It's like a jungle planet? It's like
it is, yeah, it's very jungly.
Where does Yoda live?
Dagobah.
It looks like Dagobah.
Doesn't really look like Dagobah.
Is that your official correction?
It's like, yeah, no, I mean it's
it looks like Dagobah.
There's no swamp there.
It's swampy. It's
not swampy.
It's foresty. It's swampy. It's green.
It's foresty. It's not swampy.
It's green. It's a green.
Dagobah is like gray.
What?
You don't remember Star Wars very well. No, was this how it was interpreted in Lego Star Wars? Is that the issue here?
Yes. Yes, it is. Well,
anyway,
I stand by Dagobah being green.
He lands on the planet. He walks inside this house, and there's an old guy here, and this is
that Trent or
that was Kent. That was Kent.
Right.
Yeah, this episode made history really, because we'd finally united the Spiner triplets on screen. It's kind of a big deal. So, we got Trent back for lore. We got Kent joining in as Dr. Noonien Sung, and it was great because we had Kent portraying obviously a really old guy, which worked really well because Brent and Trent had kind of sandwiched him in the womb, and he came out a lot shorter. So we didn't really have to do too much work in kind of building up this discrepancy in their statures.
It's nice when these things, these complications, some would say, come together to make art.
Yeah, absolutely. And Data walks in there, and you see this old guy, and you immediately know who he is, right?
Yeah.
The makeup is
not good.
It's rough. He can barely move his face,
and it's not like an he suffered a stroke in the past kind of thing. It's not intentional.
Right. Well, no, maybe he did. Maybe that's part of the lore.
Is that your headcanon? Dr. Noonien Sung suffered a stroke?
There's a Noonien Sung novel.
In the Apocrypha?
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I had always pictured Noonien Sung as being Asian.
Well, the name is very Korean, right?
And I think that at one point, like, that's what we were casting for, was an Asian dude.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what was it? Kent said he could, tape his eyes, but
yeah, we did a few test runs, and I think we decided it wouldn't get past censors.
Right. Nowhere to the censors.
Yeah. We were originally going to have an Asian guy, I think, but I think Brent kind of had his way with the casting here as well.
He said, "You will cast Kent." He said it just like that.
Yes, yeah. You will cast Kent. And so Data wakes up after the doctor performs some kind of dental operation on him.
He sticks a stick into his mouth and turns it. In like, I'll talk about this for a second. It annoys me how little effort was paid to making that look like a technical maneuver.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's just, you can see the stick is just hanging in his mouth, not touching or doing anything.
Right.
And it's like he just ratchets it. Okay, that shit was ratchet.
That shit was ratchet. Yeah, it was pretty dumb.
And,
but Data wakes up and they kiss.
Right, they're like, "Oh, Dad, Father, I thought you were dead." And I don't even remember what his response to that was. He's like, "I'm not."
Like, he was like, well, his response was like, "Oh, like basically that he always has a contingency plan to escape from somewhere,
lest the crystalline entity show up."
Yeah. Because I didn't know I'd be running from a snowflake.
Did the crystalline entity show up yet?
Yeah.
Was it in Farpoint?
No, it was in Data Lore.
I barely remember that episode.
Oh my god. You know, the only episode at all related to this?
Why, was Data Lore required viewing?
Yes.
Did you rewatch Data Lore?
No.
Well, that's right.
Well, no, because we already watched it. We already met the requirements.
Yeah, like a year ago.
So, actually, I think it was longer than a year ago at this point.
Jesus. How long have we
That's
been doing
disgusting.
this show? 3 years?
Way too long.
Too long.
Yeah, the set and prop guys obviously had a lot of fun designing this room.
Yeah, that's why we couldn't afford anything but the ladder on the other set.
Right. Yeah. All the effort went into this. I think we rented like a dinosaur skull from a museum. One of the like we were really going over budget. So one of the prop guys raided his son's room for the bulk of the dinosaur paraphernalia,
Right?
Little toys and stuff, the little volcano set. And we never got around to filming this specifically, but Dr. Soong's room was also decked out with a race car bed,
Which would have sold the image of the eccentric genius that we were looking for.
Right. And I mean, this extends even to the books on his shelf. I mean, if you look really carefully, you can see Brent's personal copy of the Bell Curve. So a lot of collaborative effort went into giving this room like a lot of character.
And character it has.
Yeah, Kent spends a lot of his time talking to Data. He'll walk around, he'll pace around the room just fidgeting with these things, which I can't tell if it's cute or annoying.
But a little of both. You want to know a secret?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
In watching it this time, I did not notice any of the dinosaur paraphernalia in the set, and was thus very confused at the end of the episode.
Are you serious? He literally picks up like dinosaur toys and starts like mashing them together.
Well, I was apparently looking away at that time.
No, you were watching GDQ.
That's all I do these days. I watch GDQ, I donate, and then I jack off.
Do you include a little rhyme with your donation?
Yeah, I say, enough of this fut, let's kick cancer's butt. But I always make sure that the tempo of the rhyme doesn't work. Like one line is just much longer than the other one. Because I think that really heightens the work.
You ever see and this is like exclusive to like being extremely online, but when you see people like try to make parody songs,
yeah, and they just have no
do that.
Yes, no concept of I don't know, lyricism, tempo, rhythm,
yes,
anything.
Right.
It's bad.
Drives me nuts. And then people will respond, "That's amazing."
I can't. I think one of the things in this world of ours that annoys me the most is when people get praise from the uninformed about substandard work.
Yeah, sure.
Like, it's very annoying. Somebody's like shitty drawing, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, you're such a good artist," and they're like, it's nothing, thank you, but I'm not that good." And their work is just dog shit. It's dog shit, and nobody tells them.
Looks like Chris Chan on a bad day.
Yeah. It annoys me so.
Oh, it's toxic positivity.
No, it's not, because they're not like feigning anything. They're just dumb that they think it's actually good.
Well, you don't know that.
Well, I don't know that, but in my head canon.
The people you've made up.
Yeah. I hate those guys.
No, I genuinely think most of the time it is feigning.
Well, I mean, that's also annoying, but for different reasons.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Either way, it's annoying.
Yes.
You cannot abide by that.
I can't and I won't. Cannot and will not.
So we cut back to the Enterprise, and I guess they get like nominal control of the systems, but Data's locked it with a password, right?
Right. Picard's
And,
like, control code? I don't remember my control code. It's like 20 characters long.
Data, I think the password Data puts in is like impossible to guess, like statistically.
Right. It's super long and
like
involves
literally
both letters and numbers.
Yeah. So they're stuck without Data. They have this little ticking clock, Bubble Boy.
Yeah, the kid with the parasite needs to get to a hospital now, or he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Despite them never taking an effort to make him look sick.
No, he always looks completely fine. Which, you know what, I'm fine with that. I don't honestly. There's something unnerving about seeing a child even feign sickness for TV. I don't know. It's disturbing to me.
Does it it triggers your Papa Bear response?
Yeah, I don't know why that's where I draw the line, but I don't know. This kid has the most annoying accent of all time.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like the way I don't know. He says stuff all pouty like this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he just sounds like a stupid kid.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about it that just makes me want to slap him.
Man, you want to slap everybody, women, children.
A few important points about this first scene, where we first see Crusher treating him, right?
Is that when he's in the incubator?
Yeah, he's in the incubator.
That's not what it is.
he's an egg. He's about to hatch.
Oh, I see. God, keep him away from Reddit.
Crusher's like bringing him dresses and stuff.
Oh no! But
do you like this yet? Do you like it yet?
His presence is why the working title of this episode was 3 Brents and a Baby.
Yeah, that's right. I think there were plans to have them kind of go on a romping adventure.
Yeah, the kid would crawl around the Enterprise and trigger things that would fall on Worf.
Stick his fingers in like electric sockets.
Like, how about this? Data's walking along with like a tray of tea and cookies and cakes and whatnot, and the kid like accidentally starts a force field. Data walks into it, and the cakes go everywhere, and the tea goes everywhere. It's like, oh.
Yeah. We just get a Home Alone on the Enterprise.
Right.
Sounds excruciating.
I was Home Alone on the Enterprise once.
Yeah.
That's the whole story.
I want to bring up a couple points here.
Uh-huh.
The first being, so we're the Star Trek universe takes place in a cosmopolitan, like, one government world.
Right.
Earth, rather. So why does April Fool's Day still exist?
Explain.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you think there's some element of Western hegemony going on here? Because it's like you have all these other holidays. Wouldn't you like just axe April Fool's Day?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
It's a little weird, isn't it?
There's no surprise to me that Star Trek's future exists with a Western focus.
No, but it is somewhat disappointing.
It is. I mean, we've had nothing but disappointment for Star Trek's portrayal of the future. And it's like, everyone talking about the idealistic Star Trek future, it's like, what, where everybody is America?
Yeah, basically. It's like, okay, everyone's white. Well, hey, you know what? Actually, I could kind of get behind this.
Everyone has Western values. They only note Western customs. Unless they're exotic enough to be worth focusing an episode on. Like Chakotay's Spirit Journey or whatever.
Right, yeah. You love that.
Hate it.
But yeah, totally. They still treat, like, foreign, like, Earth, our contemporary foreign cultures as just as foreign, right, as they are now. It's incredible.
There's absolutely no blending going on. If anybody has an ethnic name, it's because they look that ethnicity. There's no like white person with an African name or whatever.
Sure.
Everything about it, the multiculturalism, is so nominal and poorly thought out that I have no idea why people praise it as much as they do.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. You're right about that.
It's disappointing.
It's sort of. I mean, I guess it's just another thing in Trek that you need to just not think about.
Which are among my favorite things. The things I don't need to think about.
These are a few of my favorite things. So yeah, we got languages, we got events that happened after the 21st century, or during it, after the year 2022 at this point. And this.
Great future. I can't wait to look
and
at
who
the Star Trek
programs the
future.
replicators. and who watches the Watchers.
Right. These are all menial jobs done by the proles.
I sentence you to 10 years of watching the Watchers.
It's like that court scene. God damn it! It's like that court scene in Farpoint where it's like all those mutant people.
Yeah.
They're like a midget with a Fu Manchu.
Right. Yeah, no, that's the lower class of Star Trek.
That's a more inspired future than Star Trek's.
Yeah, sure.
Like, show me that fucking Mad Max world.
I mean, it's the proles. They live in the Undercity, harvesting shards of ectogloop or something in exchange for 0.001% of a credit.
A social credit.
So, yeah, social credit. Yeah. You know what? That we haven't touched upon that either. I guess they would have some kind of social credit system, wouldn't they?
Why else would people do good?
Right. Well, they are American. They're not Chinese. They don't need that incentive. They'll just do good by themselves.
That's right. And everybody is American these days.
Yeah.
Which is what's really important in the world.
So we also got a lot of letters.
Yes, as we often do.
As we often do. This time from concerned doctors, who were kind of getting up our ass about Crusher not wearing gloves in the quarantine box.
Right.
And you can make up all these different arguments, like
the force field,
the force fields, like decontaminate or whatever. But the general consensus of these letters was that if Willie had AIDS, the entire crew would have been infected this episode.
Well, especially the first version of the opening scene.
Oh yeah, that would have been even worse.
What happened next? Lore shows up. In his second appearance from Data Lore.
Yeah, it was nice to see Trent again.
Now, what happens in Data Lore? They're like, "Oh, you left me in a ship."
Yeah, he like ejects him out into space.
Is that what happened? What was the plot? Did I watch this episode? What happened?
Yeah,
you're Data Lore?
I kind of forget, but Lore eventually tries to blow up the Enterprise with the crystalline entity.
Oh yes, okay. He shows up. He tricks Data. He's like, "I'm a good Data," and then He's like, "You're a bad Data."
And I think there's a moment where they're like in the shuttle bay, and they're both pointing at each other, and like Riker's holding a phaser, and they're like, "I'm Data. No, I'm Data."
That does happen, doesn't it? Good lord. Isn't there a point where Data's in the room and Lore turns him off?
Yes.
Okay. And then they find Data later and they turn him on, and Data's like,
because
"Why
Lore
am
is
I on the
impersonating
floor?"
Data.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he does in this episode.
Yeah, that's like his one trick.
Yeah, you would think that Data would like alter himself to not be so impersonatable.
How would he alter himself, do you think?
Oh, I don't know. He's getting a
Sex
haircut.
change?
That too. Just something like, okay, so Lore has emotion, but Data doesn't. So Data would have to alter himself to look very embarrassing, like just a terrible existence, such that Lore, if he were to impersonate Data, he would feel the embarrassment of looking like that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a solid
I can see
plan,
that.
right?
I'm gonna write an OpenAI story about this exact episode, but Data wakes up and requests that the doctor give him a sex change.
I want to look at the your history on the OpenAI and see how many of those stories involve a sex change of some sort.
It's only Data.
What is Data's name if he was a female?
Datarella.
I was gonna say Data.
If Data was a woman, like if the character was cast as a woman, every Star Trek fan would be jacking off over her.
Right. This it's kind of
my autistic cutie wife.
It's a 7 of 9 situation, right?
Well, kind of, but Data's even more into like the autistic spectrum.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. People just love women that are autistic for some reason.
Well, they love women who like are incompetent.
Okay.
And can't take care of themselves. You know what I mean?
Well, no. These are two different loves. There's definitely an audience of people that like that incompetent woman that they could ostensibly help, but there's also the people that love a woman that they can project onto, like, oh, she's autistic like me, but she's a cute woman that people like.
Right. Well, I know, and this is how you go down the rabbit hole and start taking hormone suppressors.
Oh no!
Right?
You're speaking from experience.
Yeah, you know me. But it is, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I'm thinking of what is that one anime with the dirty, disgusting girl?
Watamode?
Yeah, that's it. People love that character. I assume some of them because they want to fix her, but other ones are like, it's just like me.
Just like me, but she's a girl.
Right.
Yeah, and funny thing is, that's that author's the only thing she's ever done that's taken off. So it's kind of her moneymaker, right? So obviously you end up running out of awkward situations for this girl to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually changed it so that now she has friends.
Okay.
And it's like a slice of life about this group of friends, and people went nuts.
In anger?
Yes.
because she got friends and they are unable to.
Yes, yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
That's kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, it's like in a lot of other stories where they depict the characters having sex or getting a boyfriend, and everyone just loses their collective mind at that.
Oh my god, yeah. The number of people who are like, why do we need sex scenes in movies?
Can't stand it. And it's this discussion always is broached by referring to them as unnecessary sex scenes.
Yeah. As if any scene in a movie is necessary in and of itself.
But it's like with this pretense, like, I don't mind sex scenes if they're necessary, but they're just never necessary.
Right.
And it's just
Oh,
these people can't fathom like an emotional arc or character development or really just emotion in general. Really,
well, being a normal human being, basically.
right?
I mean, you sleep, you eat, you shit, you have sex. That's what being a normal human being is.
No, it's you sleep, you eat, you shit, and you post on the internet about how lonely you are.
You should post on 4chan. Yeah, yeah. One of my favorites is the cliche of like a guy goes to a bar, looks a woman in the eyes, and then it cuts to them having sex.
Okay. What about
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Well, that's a lot of people like cite that as like a generic intro to a sex scene, which I don't think it's ever happened in the history of films ever. I struggle to think of a movie where that's actually happened.
No, I can't either. The only one I could possibly think of, and this isn't like an actual movie, it's just like a setup that I could see happening, is there's a little more to it than that, but it's only to depict a character that is living a certain lifestyle.
A hedonistic lifestyle.
Right, like this is it's so little attention is paid to the development of it because it's so regular and unnoteworthy for that character. Yes. In which case it would not be unnecessary.
Right, there you go. That's character development. That's introducing you to our protagonist.
Right.
Or deuteragonist, if you will.
Or antagonist, really, if it's
or what's the third one? Oh yeah, or antagonist if it's an incel movie.
I have no idea what it is. I only like last year learned the term deuteragonist, and believe me, everyone made fun of me for that.
Duty-ragonist.
He's the one that shits a lot.
He's the shitter.
It's one of Batman's villains. The shitter.
He just leaves a big turd wherever he's been. Wherever he commits crimes, he just leaves a big turd.
I feel like the shitters. This is the work of the shitter.
We can't go a single episode of this without talking about shit.
Well, we are talking about Star Trek. Lore brought all this on.
Yeah, so Lore shows up.
And he shows up subdued, much like Data did. He needs to be reawakened.
Yeah, and Data's like, don't. He's
don't
a
bad guy. He's fucking evil.
And then the Doctor reactivates Lore because he just does, okay?
Because, quote, he'll listen to me. I can fix him.
Right.
I've always found the performance of Trent to be very obnoxious as Lore. Perhaps intentionally. So? Yeah, but it's a type of I don't really know how to describe this. Like intentional emoting such that I have to emote enough to differentiate him from Data. Like nothing about this character can be subdued because if it is, it'll just look like Data.
I find it very theatrical. I like it.
Yeah.
You hate Brent.
Well, I mean, this is Trent.
Oh yeah, sorry, Trent.
I do hate Trent.
You hate Trent and you hate Brent.
I like Data more than I like either of them. And let me spoiler it, I'm not too fond of Dr. Noonien Soong either.
That old bag.
Often wrong Soong.
Oh god.
A little great piece of meta writing there. We're like, oh, this rhyme doesn't even work. Isn't that weird?
The deadline for the script is in 2 minutes.
Oh god.
Yeah, so there's like a little squabble where Lore is like, why did you abandon me? And yada yada yada. I don't know. What did you think about this stuff? I thought it was good.
The family drama.
Yeah, I thought it was neat. It was cute.
It was fine. I didn't.
The problem is it goes nowhere. Really.
Right. There is no actual development aside from maybe Data learning that he didn't get the weak recessive genes, or whatever explanation it was.
Yeah. Oh, there was a scene where the Doctor says like he's about to die, like he's dying, and then like Lore actually like has this like he actually seems like distressed by it.
Right.
Which was interesting, but also like he never acts that way again. He just acts angry.
And then he throws that same man into like a fucking window or whatever in the very next scene.
Well, that was after the chip was put into him that wasn't supposed to be there.
The double emotion chip. Like, why did he want that?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, here's the thing. A lot of discussion goes into this episode, goes into the idea that lore is like somehow broken or like not operating correctly.
Okay.
But we're never told why that is. Like, what about him? I mean, yeah, he's a selfish asshole, but he could just be a selfish ass. Like,
right.
Why does he himself feel like he needs fixing? He seems to be operating just fine. He wants something, he tries to get it.
Yeah,
right?
There's not enough paid to Lore's, I don't know, emotional state, ironically enough.
Yeah.
Just that he has emotions, but you don't really know how he feels about anything. Himself, his situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we're told that he's like, "Oh, I want you to fix me." But he never seems to be conflicted about his actions.
Right. Fix him how? Really? Does he not like being evil? Is that it?
Right.
Because that's his only real defect.
Yeah, which is something he could just be like, okay, I guess I should stop being a douche.
Right. But he's like, no, I'm gonna throw Dr. Noonien Soong into a fucking window.
Like maybe get therapy.
You know, I know a great counselor.
So, well, she can't read his mind, so.
Oh God.
Yeah. So he wants this chip that is going to give Data emotions for completely nebulous reasons.
He wants it so Data can't have it, and the character doesn't change at all. And this plot point is used again, if I recall, later on.
Yeah. No, it's used a few times.
I think it's used in one of the movies, and Data actually gets it in one of the movies.
Yeah.
Did you like Trent's singing?
Yeah. Yeah, that scene was we actually cut that scene down for time, but it was going to be like or it was originally filmed to be about 3 times longer, I think.
It's the whole song.
Yeah, and then Kent would just kind of stare at him and do nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Not emote, not really say anything. Just stare.
Well, that was Kent's specialty.
That's why we covered him in makeup. Didn't really change anything. I wrote this down. It's kind of not related to anything, but that scene where Data is talking to Soong and he asks him, why did you make me?
Mm-hmm. And he quotes Michelangelo.
Yeah. Which is weird that he quoted a Ninja Turtle, but it often cuts over to Brent making this like autistic concerned face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think obviously he's made this face before, but I feel like I only really started to appreciate how much this reminds me of just like all the autistic people I've met in my life.
They're completely
they all make this face,
and it's just an inappropriate response to someone's emotional moment.
Yeah. It's almost like they feel like they should be concerned, so they try to make it look like they are.
It's the face they practiced in the mirror.
Yeah. Oh man. There's a throwaway line from Lore about how he was rescued by a Packled trade ship, which I found kind of funny.
I want to see that episode.
Yeah, right.
Lore dealing with the Packlids.
You are smart.
And then Lore is like a maniacal bent to him. Yes, I am smart. Now, did the Packlids, did they run their grift on Lore? That's my question.
Right. They should have just disassembled him.
Used them for parts?
Yeah, like Jawas.
Is that what Jawas do?
Yeah.
I thought they were like traders, like financial guys. That got very...
Yeah, but they'll disassemble stuff. It's worth more separate or something.
But how do they do it? He only had like these small little T-Rex arms.
Huh?
Well, he's like lying there inside of his palace, and he's got these small little arms, and he didn't seem very technical.
That's Jabba. That's Jabba.
Oh, I see. Not. What did you say?
Jawas.
Not okay.
Uh-huh.
I see. Sorry. Anyway. I feel like you're gonna cut contact with me.
So yeah, we have this this other brother story,
right,
unfolding on the Enterprise where Willie won't talk to his brother.
And we had to go over this a lot, that there was a parallel between, those brothers, the Data brothers, and the title of the episode. Like, I told him like 5 or 6 times, but Patrick just couldn't understand what that meant. Yeah.
There were a few people who really could not make the connection between the two plots.
Right. And then...
even in the end.
Yeah. Like, what the hell? You gotta spell it out for you?
Like, what do you think the dinosaurs are for?
Well, in not seeing them in the set, I thought they were for a romping good time.
Where do you think Data got them from?
I thought he went shopping or replicated them. I don't know. What do you think of Data and Lore's brotherly relationship?
It's underdeveloped.
Yeah. I want to see them go play catch.
Again, well, by virtue of I want to see Lore give Data a noogie.
Wedgie.
A wedgie, yeah. By virtue again of Lore's emotional state really not being sufficiently explained. I mean, there's this bit at the end where the Crusher is like, brothers forgive, but it's like, well, there's nothing for Data to really forgive, even from our perspective, because it's like, is Lore just like an evil force of nature?
Right, like Data has not...
Does he have any redeeming qualities?
Data doesn't have the capacity to hold grudges nor forgive.
Well, there's that too.
So it's really like a moot point.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to be projecting here, I think.
Right. There should have been a dinner scene at Soong's house. Where Soong is at one end, and the brothers are kind of like staring each other down across the table, and like Lore kicks Data, and Data does that like eyebrow thing where he's like, huh?
And then after dinner, Noong sits Data on his lap and burps him.
For dinner, like Soong comes over with like an old timey oil can and it's like tips it in the Data's ear. And he goes over to Lore, and Lore's snap, I can do it myself.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the more we talk about this episode, the less I kind of like it, because I like the idea of it, but the execution is just not quite there.
Right. That's why I felt the beginning was stronger. Because the stuff at the Soong household is underdeveloped.
Yeah, I think I just liked the idea so much that it kind of blinded me. Yeah, so anyway, they eventually get back in the Enterprise to get access to the bridge. Their plan is to
pick up Data and leave.
Make the transporter think that Riker, Geordi, and Worf are all Data, so that it gives them the rights to beam down. Which I don't know if this is a rights issue, like an access issue, or what. But like, I would be scared of making the transporter think I'm another person. You know what I mean? Because, would it deconstruct you and then reconstruct you on the planet's surface as them?
Yeah, don't think about it.
That can actually get kind of hot if you think about it.
Is this another one of your transformation fetishes?
Yeah, there's like a Barclay episode
where Barclay gets addicted to just beaming into places as other people, or just Troy over and over.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, so Jordy says we could network a few tricorders together.
Or use a single quadcorder.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's unreal. The number of concessions we've needed to make, having not introduced the quadcorder.
And he doesn't even use the correct term, which is daisy chaining. Like,
Rucksacking.
like when you plug one Atari controller into another.
Yeah, sure. It's a boomer memory if there ever was one.
Well, you remember somebody like, you made your younger brother sit with controller 1 so he's closest to the TV, and now he can't see shit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you, with the daisy chain, can move back another 2 feet.
Right. And my eyesight is perfect.
Right. So, I mean...
There's a cute Asian this episode.
One of the kids?
No. No, it was like a brief moment. Jordy walked into med bay with like this random Asian extra.
Is that supposed to be Brian's future wife?
Yeah, she is the only Asian on the ship.
Right. Keiko. What is her maiden name?
Keiko.
I feel like it would be Ogawa, just so it wouldn't be much of a stretch to change it to O'Brien.
I'm kind of curious.
Really fucks with me that hearing O at the start of a Japanese name, it could be either the kanji for big or small.
What the fuck is Keiko's maiden name? Ishikawa.
Okay. There definitely was an Ogawa at some point.
Oh, I'm sure there was.
I'm not crazy. I'm not.
Wasn't he like a or no, it was what is this?
Sorry.
Alyssa Ogawa?
That sounds familiar. But who?
I don't think she was in anything
But she's...
Yeah, she was in TNG. My bad. She was in the TNG episode Lower Decks, not to be confused with the TV show Star Trek Lower Decks.
Do we like Lower Decks, the TNG episode?
I don't really remember it.
I remember liking it. You can ring me up on that if it turns out to be bad in 5 years when we get to it.
Here's a picture with a caption, Ogawa turned into an ape.
Whew. You gonna send it to me?
No.
Well, I guess I'm not deserving.
I mean, yeah, sure, I guess. It really make for good podcasts.
Has that ever stopped us? Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, nothing. That's why I brought up the Asian.
Yes. So, Lore...
Yeah, Lore makes off with the chip.
Right?
In his head.
Absconds.
He absconds. Good word. And he throws the doctor into like a glass table or something.
Right.
And yeah.
Faces no repercussion. The Enterprise crew gets there. They survey the scene. They wake up Data. And that and the episode ends?
There was actually a funny take we had where Frakes, had to take Brent in his arms. Or no. Worf had Brent in his arms. Frakes had to, like, quote, turn Data on, right?
Yeah. He was princess carrying him.
Yeah. It was very romantic. We had an awkward first take where Frakes accidentally fingered Brent's asshole, though.
Well, he was looking for the switch.
Yeah. We did have a switch, too.
Right.
On Brent's back. Just all the time. Just for reference.
If we were ever annoyed with him, we would turn it off and he'd get the hint to leave.
Right. Yeah. It was good. It was like a non-confrontational way of telling him to shut up.
Right, because comedians, they're always trying to be funny and show you how funny they are.
Right. Oh god, he was nonstop.
Oh, Brent.
And then the episode ends. They get safely to the space station. The kid gets cured.
Brent
Data
plays
brings
dinosaurs.
Yeah. There was a little emotional, like, quote, emotional scene between Data and the Doctor, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
the moral is fine the less you think about it. Because it's like, yeah, Data and his brother have this standing history, this conflict, and they could learn to patch it up. But, I mean, when you think about how neither of them, either they don't have the capacity to grow or they are unwilling to grow, it's kind of hollow. But it does ostensibly tie the two things together. The two pairs
ostensibly,
of brothers. Yes.
It is funny how they're both so uniquely autistic that there's no way they could ever relate to each other.
Poetic in a way.
Yeah.
Now, are you Team Data or Team Lore?
Oh, I mean, come on. Laura's barely a character.
That's true. You could be Team Soong. That's fine too.
I'm Team Soong from Star Trek Picard.
Oh. Didn't they like bring back the whole like there's a girl android and a aunt's descendant Soong.
Yeah.
And he's evil, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tries to like kill Picard's ancestor.
Is there time travel?
Because no. Well, yes. The entire season 2 is time travel.
Oh, wait, I thought he was in season 1.
No, he's in season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, he tries to kill. Because much like Star Wars, there's an entire like universe of people, but everything over the centuries just plays out between the same like 3 families. So Data's creator's great grandfather tried to kill Picard's ancestor.
But of course, what else could happen?
And then Wesley shows up.
He has like traveler powers, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
He just looks like, the same frumpy Will Wheaton who hosts the Readier Room.
No makeup, no costume.
Nothing. No.
There.
Just Will Wheaton. Yeah.
Same awful smile.
Same soy-induced affect.
How cool is this, Captain Picard? We're here together again. 30 years later. He looks right at the camera.
Shut up, Wesley.
Was there something like that? Like, maybe that'll happen in the next season where somebody says...
It's definitely going to happen on the next season.
Yeah, Worf, right? Or shut up, Wesley. And then, like, there's a 2-minute pause with no dialogue so the audience can finish laughing and high-fiving.
Season 3 is going to be... Honestly, that might be a hate watch for me.
I could see it.
Right?
Yeah.
If the whole cast is going to be there.
Get to look at Gates and she's like a fucking pile of dust.
I almost choked. Oh. Yeah, like someone touches her and she just crumbles. Like she got infinity stoned away.
So the dancing doctor, and she's like just in a wheelchair that she blows into a tube for.
I know. They're all fucking geriatric. They're all so old. Is Brent gonna be back?
I can't think of why he would, because like Data's a consciousness that was turned off, right?
Data's dead.
Right.
But, they'll probably find a way.
Oh, Lore will be back.
Well, unfortunately, Trent died of an overdose a few decades ago now. So
I think Brent could fill in on lore.
yeah, probably.
He's got it in him. Probably. But Lore's a good guy, just so they can have the whole bridge crew back.
Yeah, right. Maybe the entire season is just going to be about rescuing Data
from cyberspace.
Yeah.
Like oh, Picard, I'm jacking in, and it's just him surrounded by a bunch of cubes, purple cubes.
Ever since I was a little boy, my mother told me how she loved cyberspace.
You ever see Scooby-Doo goes into the internet or whatever it is?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's like a blue electricity monster like that, and like Data's fighting it with like a Tron stick.
The Enterprise crew has to compete in like video games. Like a gauntlet of video games.
And it's like Pac-Man comes up and Picard's, now this is a game I understand. And he's just like wins Pac-Man.
Yeah. Worf gets to play Space Invaders.
Oh, you see, Wesley's explaining. Worf, in this game, there's a bunch of invaders coming from space to attack your homeworld. And Worf's like, so we must defend our homeworld. I like this game.
Yep, there it is. Oof. It's gonna be shit.
Oh, it's
anyway.
Terrible.
What did you think? Alright, we gotta do saucer steps.
3.
3, yep.
Okay.
I agree.
So what did I think?
just marathon this episode.
Hell yeah. What? You were gonna ask, what did you think about or something, but it cut off.
Oh no! I was gonna ask you what you thought about this episode, but we do that at the beginning. At the end,
yeah.
We give saucer steps.
That's right. Okay. Well, you got any trivia?
I do, but I can't remember what it is.
I'm gonna say Data.
Hold on. Okay. So, Michael Westmore, makeup guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He, in creating the makeup for Dr. Soong, he said, the first thing I did in creating Brent's makeup for Dr. Soong
Kent's
was, Kent's makeup. Sorry, makeup for Dr. Soong. Basically, he says the first thing he did was make his head bigger.
Okay.
Right? And I guess the question is, what was he trying to convey with that?
His massive brain, because he's so smart.
Yeah.
It's like one step away. We made his head so big that he could recline on it and drink fine wine. Oh, that's dumb.
It's really dumb.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb I didn't think you would guess it. At least not immediately.
Believe me, I have the capacity to delve into the depths of stupidity.
I guess you have a big head too.
And emerge tainted. Emerge just a little dumber for having witnessed this.
The lighting in Dr. Soong's house, like on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that was reused from?
One of the planets that they went to. I haven't got shot in the dark though. The all-woman planet.
Nah.
What is it?
It's the gallery room in the Most Toys.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Should have known. It's like my favorite episode.
I know. Yeah. You for how much you jack off over that episode, I would have thought you'd have studied that entire room down to the lighting at least.
No, I always get to the point where I see the Mona Lisa and just get angry that that's another Earth thing. Well, I guess that'll be it. Another victory for me on the trivia.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. If you guys at home want to hear about our sponsors, keep listening. If you don't, please turn off the podcast. I don't know. But the Readier Room is sponsored lovingly by Denny's, home of the Moons Over Miami and the Grand Slam, and also the Pep Boys, home of the 15-minute oil change. Drop the word Readier at either of these fine establishments to get 15% off your purchase or order. If you too would like to sponsor the Readier Room, please reach out at the readierroombusiness@gmail.com. And until next week, where we tackle yet another episode of Season 4, I bid you adieu and to please stay ready.
The troublesome little man-child.
I stand before you defrocked, condemned to be a member of this lowest of species.
Thank you, Ensign. Engage.
Do you consider yourself superior to us?
Should have told him to mind his own damn business.
But I stroked the beard thusly. Do I not appear more intellectual?
Computer, freeze program.
Have you never dreamed of climbing inside the bottle?